This is breaking news out of Columbus, Ohio. After nearly 2 weeks of shock, grief, and unanswered questions, an arrest has been made in the brutal double homicide that took the lives of 39-year-old mother Monique Tepe and her 37-year-old husband, father, and beloved dentist, Spencer Tepe. Police have arrested Monique's ex-husband, Michael David McKee, charging him with 2 counts of murder. He is expected to appear in court on January 12th in Columbus, Ohio, where investigators may finally begin to reveal what they believe happened and why. And tonight, I want to be very clear about something. This story is not about the suspect. This story is about the people who were lost. Welcome back to Crime and Coffee Chronicles, where the truth brews slowly and every sip reveals something darker beneath the surface. In the early morning hours of December 30th, inside a quiet home in the Wineland Park area of Columbus, Monique and Spencer Tepe were shot and killed. There were no signs of forced entry, no public indication of a struggle, and no weapon recovered at the scene. Inside that same home were their 2 young children, just 4 years old and 1 year old, alive, physically unharmed, and sleeping while their parents were taken from them. Those children are alive today because someone else noticed. Something was wrong. Spencer didn't show up for work that morning, something friends and coworkers have said was completely out of character. Calls went unanswered. Concern grew. That concern led to a welfare check, and that welfare check led to a discovery that would change everything. Spencer didn't miss work by accident, and that was cause for immediate concern. However, no one was prepared for the grave reality of what had transpired on that fateful night. Sometime in the quietest hours of the night between 2 and 5 a.m., while the city slept, Monique and Spencer were killed. Police believe it happened in these early morning hours, but the exact moment remains unknown. Spencer Tepe was a dentist, a professional, a routine-driven man, someone whose absence wasn't casual or easily explained away. When he didn't arrive at his office, when he didn't answer calls, concern spread quickly. Friends, co-workers, people who knew, this isn't like him. That concern led to the wellness check, and that wellness check led to a discovery no one should ever have to make. But Spencer was so much more than his profession. Friends described him as warm, reliable, and deeply devoted to his family. Someone who showed up, not just for work, but for the people he loved. A devoted husband, a loving father, a man who was, by all accounts, building a quiet, meaningful life. Spencer wasn't just in the wrong place at the wrong time. He was a present father, a husband described as madly in love with his wife, a committed, caring medical professional, and a man whose absence was so unusual that people immediately knew something was terribly wrong. And then there is Monique, a mother of 2 young children, a woman with a background in early childhood education. Monique had been married before to the alleged suspect. That marriage ended years ago, did not result in children, and she went on to build a new life with Spencer, and her 2 children, Spencer fathered. Details about the divorce, including how long it lasted or why it ended, have not been publicly confirmed. However, several online sites mentioned the divorce occurred in or around 2017. There are no public records of harassment or disagreement as of now. Family statements and friends' comments describe Monique as someone who loved baking, hosting, and creating a welcoming home. She was the kind of person who showed love through small, thoughtful details. Friends and family have emphasized that her life revolved around her kids, their routines, their care, their sense of safety. Everything she was building was centered on them. Friends said Monique and Spencer were extremely affectionate, and it was obvious just how much in love they were, that they acted like newlyweds, that their home felt safe, joyful, full. This wasn't a household unraveling behind closed doors. This was a family living a life full of love, warmth, and surrounded by friends and family who are now grieving the loss of this loving couple. And perhaps most devastating of all, 2 young children who will not grow up with their loving mother and father. Police now say the suspect has been arrested after investigators followed evidence that led them across state lines. The suspect in this case is Monique's former husband, Michael David McKee. Beyond his arrest and the charges filed against him, little else has been made public. Investigators have not confirmed a motive, and court proceedings are expected to shed more light on what they believe happened. Columbus homicide detectives identified McKee through neighborhood video surveillance. Police alleged in court documents they tracked the suspect to a vehicle which arrived just prior to the homicides and left shortly after. They found the vehicle in Rockford, Illinois, and found evidence that McKee had the vehicle before and after the killings. Michael David McKee of Chicago faces 2 counts of murder, Franklin County Municipal Court documents show. According to online court records, a warrant was issued January 10th for McKee's arrest. McKee was booked into jail in Winnebago County in Illinois shortly before noon local time. He will remain there until authorities extradite him back to Franklin County. Remember this key fact: he was taken into custody in Illinois. That detail matters, because people don't cross state lines on impulse. They don't leave their lives behind without intention. Which brings us to the questions no one can stop asking. Was this about control? About someone who couldn't accept that Monique had moved on, that she had built a new life, a happy one, with a loving partner? Or was it something darker? What kind of person targets not just their ex-wife, but also the man who loved her? What kind of person would risk everything, knowing 2 small children would wake up without parents? These are questions we hope begin to be answered January 12th, when the suspect appears in court in Columbus, Ohio. As of now, no motive has been publicly confirmed, and until it is, speculation helps no one, especially the children left behind. On Saturday, January 10th, the family released the following statement. Today's arrest represents an important step toward justice for Monique and Spencer. Nothing can undo the devastating loss of 2 lives taken far too soon, but we are grateful to the City of Columbus Police Department, its investigators, and the assisting law enforcement community whose tireless efforts helped to capture the person involved. We thank the community for the continued support, prayers, and compassion shown throughout this tragedy. As the case proceeds, we trust the justice system to hold the person responsible fully accountable. Monique and Spencer remain at the center of our hearts, and we carry forward their love as we surround and protect the 2 children they leave behind. We will continue to honor their lives and the light they brought into this world. This case isn't gripping because it's shocking. It's gripping because it's devastatingly human. 2 people who were seemingly doing everything right, building a family, showing up for their community, being present, being good humans, being kind. Now they are gone. And maybe most heartbreaking of all, 2 children who will grow up with a story they never asked to be part of. These were real people. They were loved and they mattered. Thank you for watching Crime and Coffee Chronicles. Don't forget to like, share, and comment to let us know your thoughts on this horrific double homicide. Now for today's cup, which is inspired by Ohio's most iconic treat, the Buckeye. Rich chocolate, creamy peanut butter, and bold coffee come together in a drink that's indulgent, comforting, and just a little dangerous. Because some stories deserve a coffee that lingers long after the last sip. Ingredients: 1 cup hot brewed coffee. Medium or dark roast works best. 1 tablespoon chocolate syrup or chocolate sauce. 1 tablespoon creamy peanut butter. 1 to 2 tablespoons milk or cream. 1 teaspoon sugar or sweetener, optional. Whipped cream, optional but encouraged. Chocolate shavings or cocoa powder for garnish. Mini peanut butter cups or crushed Buckeyes, optional garnish. To make this delectable cup, brew your coffee and pour it into a heat-safe mug. In a small bowl or directly in the mug, whisk the peanut butter with the hot coffee until smooth and fully melted. Stir in the chocolate syrup until the coffee turns rich and glossy. Add milk or cream to taste, stirring slowly to combine. Sweeten if desired, then give it one final stir.